My way, or the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Gallop Out. I'm your host, Ryan Anderson, joined as always by my co-host, Jackson Muniz. Jackson, how's it going, brother?
It's going good, man. I feel like I've been hanging out with you a lot lately, but for a good reason. This is a big weekend coming up, and the Rebel card is always a tremendous one, and this year's certainly no exception.
It is late pick 4 at Oaklawn Park for this Sunday, March 1st, is what we're going to be covering. We have an Oaks prep in the Honeybee. We have a Derby prep in the Rebel, and two nice maiden races to alternate in between some extremely tough, I would say, stakes caliber racing. And to join us, first-time guest on this show, he had me on the notorious OTB show with him and Barry last year for Del Mar. And now it's my turn to return the favor and get him on for his home track. It is the Wolf. It's Chase. What's going on?
What's up, Ryan? Thanks for having me. Jackson, nice to meet you. Nothing much. Just I like as the little thing says down there, I'm just showless and aimless now. That's it. I'm just floating around, goldfishing.
I like it. making features. You're a feature artist. You're the show's featuring Chase at of Oaklawn, the Wolf. Man, how have you been? Have you been out to Oaklawn much this winter meet? Will you be going this weekend or for Arc Derby?
I actually have been out a good couple times. I've went a couple times whenever Honey's Blame is run. My wife and I went down day after Christmas, and I will be at Rebel Day. I've got just a swanky new blazer that I bought at Goodwill this morning. So I've been, fit together and everything. So I'm ready to go.
I love it. That is where you get all of your best clothes. That's where I get all of my fun button-up shirts. There, a thrift store. I mean, I can't find them anywhere else. Jackson, your thoughts on this late pick 4? Pretty tough sequence.
Yeah, very tough. It's kind of a weird mix. We got the Rebel and the Honeybee. We got these $1 million races, or $750,000, and then we got these impossible maiden races in between them, including the Archibred to end the card. So I'm a little bummed they didn't put the Honeybee in the $3 late pick 3 because that's kind of my favorite bet these days, and I think that would have made a lot of sense. But it is what it is, and there's still some really good racing, and it's always fun when we have these Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks preps.
Of course. Chase, I got to ask, Oaklawn, obviously being your main track, your mainstay, they added 2 very nice player-friendly wagers in the $5 late daily double with that 15% takeout, $3 late pick 3 with that same player-friendly 15% takeout. What are your thoughts on that, of them adding to an already great wagering menu at Oaklawn?
They've really taken steps forward with in terms of like there used to not be an opening pick 3. You didn't have a race 1 pick 3 for a long time. And I'm a huge fan of these get out bets, no matter what track they're at. I know Santa Anita started off with their golden hour double and everything, but yeah, I love the late pick 3 with the $3 base. It always pays well. So does the $5 double because crazy things always happen in the last leg. So it helps you take advantage of it.
Yeah, chaos always seems to ensue at Oaklawn Park, and figures too when you have fields that full. Let's waste no more time. Let's get into it. Race number 9 to kick off this late pick 4. It is the Honeybee, the Kentucky Oaks prep for those 3-year-old fillies. Picks are up on the screen. We're all a little bit similar. I'm going 7, 10, 9. Jackson 9, 4, 6. And the Wolf is going 6, 7, 4. We're going to kick it off with you, Chase. You're going to go with the number 6 Search Party, winner of the Martha Washington last out. Won that race by a neck with a few common runners coming out of there.
Yeah, so I think a lot of this is more of like it's a bet against Explorer, because I feel like whenever Explorer faces a field where there's a little bit of pressure early, she has a tendency to kind of fade off late. So I'm going with the Mark Casse horse with Christian Torres here. That's shown some ability to pass horses and made a good effort in the Martha Washington facing winners for the first time. I think this one should stay pretty close, and if there's enough pace, like I think there will, then I think she could take advantage of what I call the rail and trail bias, where it looks like the inside and the middle or in the middle of the track are really good. The pads in that you see horses flatten all the time. So I think Search Party will be out racing on a good part of the track, and I really like Mark Casse to get another stakes win under his belt.
Absolutely. Mark Casse's been on absolute fire. We're watching a replay of the Martha Washington right now as they're coming down the stretch. Search Party is the number 3, who's eventually going to get that neck out in front. I do like the rally between runners here as she comes for the finish. It's a game effort to get the job done. Jackson, we talked a little bit about this on the preview show that we did earlier today with a few of those runners across the finish line and the rest, 5 or so lengths back. What do you make, though, of the effort of Search Party to kind of get the job done, not in an easy spot between runners?
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that's not the easiest spot to pass horses late in the race. But I think prior to that, at least in that race on February the 6th, she got a perfect trip. I mean, she was sat in the pocket behind horses, saved a lot of ground. Pace was honest. It wasn't fast. And then, a lot of times when you see these races across the track, when there's, especially on dirt, when there's 4 horses down at the wire at the finish line, that can sometimes be a sign of a race that maybe isn't that strong, especially when the 3 to 5 favorite ran 60 lengths up the track and didn't show up at all. So I think there's reasons to be skeptical. I also think there's reasons to believe she can move forward in here. I mean, she's done nothing but run faster and faster with more racing. Now she's paired up with buyer tops, and to her credit, she puts herself into those spots. It's not like she's finding herself there and just happens to take advantage of them. I mean, she has the tactical speed to put herself in really good position early on. So she's not for me, but I understand the case for her.
Yeah, she's certainly one that I respect off that effort. If she builds on it, that was a game performance. The horse that I ended up with is the horse that you kind of alluded to, the 3 to 5 favorite. That was an absolute no-show, but you're going to get a much, much better price. And betting on a filly to bounce back off of a bad effort where she's shown that she can do that before is certainly one that I want to take a chance on, especially if we're going to get, I don't know if we'll get 15 to 1 Jackson, as we kind of spoke about on our preview show, but we'll probably get somewhere in the realm of 7 to 11, 12 to 1, maybe somewhere in there. Chase, you picked this horse in second. Anything to add on another Mark Casse trainee?
I absolutely love the walked off, vanned off, next out start angle. That is one of my just dirty little pig boy angles that I just can't resist. But also, when I look at these races, I like to try to do my own pace projections, kind of project trips and everything. I think that Counting Stars might be able to just kind of migrate over, tuck into the rail, save all sorts of ground. And, if we can, change course from, like someone said, 60 lengths, I think, you might have a chance with Counting Stars. I do think that price comes down also from the 15 to 1. But I'm just leaning into the walked off, vanned off here.
I mean, yeah, the zero buyer angle playback when you've seen a horse, run well before, winning from 6 lengths to losing by 60, clearly something went wrong. When she's had very nice performances in 3 of her 5 other previous races, she's just clearly known to throw in the occasional clunker. Jackson, we're going to turn to you to talk about the favorite, the only horse or the only one of this 3-person panel that's picking the 9 on top. I have Explorer in third just because of some respect. Chase completely playing against, and we'll get to that opinion in a second. But go ahead and talk about the favorite and why you're choosing her on top.
Yeah, I just felt like she's the best horse in the race. She's consistently faced better animals in this, and I'll admit, if she's lower than 75, I probably wouldn't bet her. I think I would probably need I would need that 75 price, and I do think there's a chance she goes considerably lower than that. So in that case, I'd probably pivot to some exotics. But again, I just think she's the class of the field. She ran really well in the Breeders' Cup last year. And I think the most recent race you can be a little forgiving of. I mean, that was a race where I think they kind of decided early on, we can't let Super Corridor get the lead again. And when Super Corridor was charging the first turn and had the lead, I think JJ kind of decided, I got to send her through the rail and got to turn this thing kind of into a match race, because we can't, if that horse clears, we're going to lose. And so that's kind of what happened. She gets the best of Super Corridora, and then Meaning just kind of runs them down with the perfect trip. And I'm kind of torn on that race because, as you're going to see in a second, that was a stagger fest home. I mean, maybe the pace just really took its toll on them because there were a couple other mile races on the day, and these fillies went considerably faster. I think they went about 2 or 3 seconds faster than the other races early on in the day. So maybe that's why they just went so fast early on. They got a little tired late. And I do think that's not going to be a tactics on Sunday. I think they're going to get back to sitting a length or two off the pace, let some other speed horses go, and let her pass them late. And that's probably her best trip. At the end of the day, I just think she's better than these. And if she shows up, she's probably going to win.
Yeah, if she shows up with her A effort, she's probably going to win. But Baffert won, wheels back very quickly for him.
Mm-hmm.
This is about 3 weeks rest. On top of that, Jason, I want to see hear your opinions on why you're trying to beat this filly come Sunday. But also, the comeback effort in Santa Ynez was fine. And then whether you want to think that she regressed in the next 4-horse field that she faced in the Las Virgenes, or if it was a slow race, and as Jackson mentioned, a staggerfest home, feels like a few reasons to play against this filly here.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, I feel like whenever the pace gets really honest, even if the horse manages to sit just a little bit off of it, it really just kind of seems to take it out of her and the horse fades to second. When I was doing my picks here, I guess I didn't understand the assignment. I was thinking of this as like a pick 4 kind of thing where I do think that Explora, if she doesn't win, will most likely finish second. But if I'm looking at this from a pick 4 ticket standpoint, that's a horse that I do not want on my ticket unless I'm going to single. And I think you can kind of there's plenty of reason, I think, to kind of spread out and try to beat Explora. Bob Baffert shipping to Arkansas, traditionally fairly good results, maybe not quite as much recently. We'll have to see what the formulator tells me a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, I think she's a good horse, but I'm also a West Coast buyer truther. Like I feel a little bit skeptical of those high West Coast buyers sometimes. So, is she good enough to win? Absolutely. But it'd be one that I'd leave off of a pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, I mean, her last.
I like you, Chase. I've been trying to convince Ryan for 2 years now that if you don't like the favorite on top, you cannot use them in the pick 4. And this guy continues to do it. I'm like, dude, it's hurting your ROI.
Do I, though?
Yes.
Do I, though?
Yes.
Fair enough. All right. Chase, you did understand the assignment, though, because I do want to hear, as we go through this pick 4 sequence, we don't have pick 4 tickets for you today, but I do want to hear your cases for beating a favorite or using a favorite. So by all means, it is exactly what we're doing. Real quickly, Taken by the Wind off that last out performance. Kind of had everything her own way. Jackson, obviously a bit of a slower pace up front. She didn't pull away, as we know that you like to see that, and rightfully so. I just think she's another logical horse in here. As I mentioned on our preview show, if I do play this late pick 4, I'm singling the number 7 because I do believe that she is going to bounce back. Talking, of course, about Counting Stars. Last one we'll talk about, if I can find the right horse, I believe it is Newtown Pike. Jackson, you picked this horse in second. Chase, your quick thoughts here, and then I'll go back out to the co-hosts.
Yeah, if this thing goes nuclear on the front end, then this is a horse that you want on your ticket at a big price. I think that this is one probably has some of the better closing chops. I mean, if you look at that time for late pace figure, was it 110? It's the horse that should be kicking on late. And the way the track has played at Oaklawn recently, like you had to be in the first early meet, you had to be up in the mix at the top of the stretch. It's not that case right now. You can come from the clouds. So I think that Newtown Pike could be that horse that kind of crushes souls from the clouds.
Yeah, absolutely could. If they go nuclear, Jackson, and I want to get your thoughts on the pace scenario, but then please give your thoughts on Newtown Pike as you picked this horse in second.
I thought she ran fine last time in the Martha Washington. And I think if you're comparing her trip to Search Party sat the pocket, was saving ground the entire time. Newtown Pike was 3 or 4 wide the first turn, 4 or 5 wide the second turn. She lost a lot of ground. And they were only separated by a neck at the finish line. So you're getting double the price on her in this spot. I think you can argue she ran just as well, if not better, than Search Party last time. And again, she needs some pace up front. She's not going to win if they go slow. But if they go crazy, she can pick up a lot of pieces and be dangerous.
She absolutely could. Jackson, is she one that you think could drift up from the 10-1 morning line price?
Yeah, I think Counting Stars, as we kind of talked about, is going to make everyone else's price, at least the long shots. The rest are going to go up because she could be 5-1, and I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Very true. Definitely could happen. Wrapping up race number 9, I'm going 7, 10, 9. Jackson 9, 4, 6, and the Wolf is going 6, 7, 4. That is the grade 3 Honeybee for the Kentucky Oaks hopefuls. Race 10, we're going a mile and a 16th for the 3-year-old boys. Oh, wrong thing I'm throwing up there. Picks are up. I'm going 10, 7, 8. Jackson's going 3, 4, 10, and the Wolf is going 10, 5, 3. Chase, you and I are in a bit of lockstep here, so we're going to start with Jackson for his top pick in the number 3 maximum effort for the hot Steve Asmussen barn, son Keith James in the saddle.
Man, I thought this race was really tough. I really did. I'm curious to see the morning line once it comes out, because I really thought they all kind of looked the same to me outside of the 10 who's ran that big 81 buyer going the one turn. But it kind of has a tough post, and we don't really know his running style yet, so I didn't want to pick him on top. I think maximum efforts last 2 races are maybe a little bit better than they look. I know the paces weren't fast and he was on top of them, but they were contested. It wasn't like he was up front by himself. They were, he was battling with a few other horses. He was between horses a couple times, so maybe the contested pace took its toll rather than it being not fast enough, and that's kind of why he didn't run that well. He also got 70 buyers for those races, and as a 2-year-old, and that's kind of what everyone else has been running lately. So it's not like if he runs back to those races, he's supposed to be right there. If he takes a step forward, he's supposed to be every bit as good as anyone in this spot. So I think he's got a good chance in here. The inside has been really good the last week or so. Got a good post, has tactical speed. I have no idea what kind of price he's going to be, because I think this race is really difficult to peg a morning line. But if you can get 4 or 5 to 1-ish, I think that's fine.
I would agree. Was up close to a couple slow paces. Wonder if maybe he's done a little bit of growing since the winter as a 2-year-old. Chase, I want to go to our top pick, Banksy's. You like this runner, second start for the Dave Fox barn, who sent a nice string of about 22 horses up here to Oaklawn. Typically, I think stable down at Gulfstream Park in South Florida. Debuted versus open, maidens going 6 furlongs, now stretches out to 2 turns. What do you make of this colt?
I really like horses that have shown the ability to pass in these maiden races, because that's very much a learned skill. You have a bunch of horses that are going to just kind of wing it on the front end. And if you believe that 81 buyer, then Banksy should be just the class of the field here, because this horse way outran the odds at 24-1 last out. If it's straight up just a number here with the 81 that I'm kind of chasing, which is a little bit dangerous sometime, but I would say the figure, and then also just the ability to pass horses here made Banksy my top pick.
Yeah, I was the same way. I really like that debut. Closed into a fast pace that day. Should just appreciate the stretch out around 2 turns, I think, more than anything. Second start for the Dave Fox barn, who does improve his runners start 1 to start 2. Jackson, any thoughts on this one as you pick this runner in third? And then go ahead and take us to Just JoJo, the number 4.
Yeah, he's not usually my type. He's he only ran once, but made one move into a really fast pace while sprinting. Doesn't always necessarily translate to being a 2-turn type, but it also looked really preppy to me. I mean, they didn't even try to save ground. They're like, we're just going to park him 5, 6 wide, center of the track, and we'll see what happens. He ran really well. He galloped out strongly. So, I mean, if he runs back that number, he's supposed to win. And based on what everyone else in that race had been doing prior to that one, the number looks pretty legit to me. So I think he's way the horse to beat. As far as Just JoJo goes, honestly, I kind of just needed a horse in third. That last race was kind of just okay. He didn't look super comfortable early on in the race, was a little keen, and never really settled. I thought he ran fine in there. There were a lot of horses that kind of finished. I think it was about 4 or 5 horses coming in that common race. They're all within a length or 2. So he seems as good as anyone else, and maybe he's going in the right direction.
Could be going in the right direction. One that you think is going in the right direction, Chase, is your second pick, Prime Suspect, claimed for the Ike Green barn off of Aaron Shorter, stretching out even longer for the mile and a 16th effort, and claimed and protected in maiden special weight company here.
Did I say Prime Suspect? I thought I said Mr. Fancy Pants for my second pick.
You might have. That might have been a host error. So go ahead and talk about the number 6 for Flavian Pratt and Norm Cassie. I'll fix that.
I have a feeling that was probably me, but I'm going to go ahead. I really like Flavian on the front end here, and I think he does that better than a lot of jockeys that we actually consider to be elite. If the track is built for speed, I think I could see Mr. Fancy Pants kind of walking away on the front for Flavian and Norm. like we said, with these races, sometimes, passing other horses is a learned skill. So it can just be the early speed who kind of takes it down. That's why I went into Mr. Fancy Pants. I'm pretty certain I gave you the wrong horse. So that's my bad.
No worries at all. But that is Fancy Pants for the Cassie and Pratt duo. This one certainly does figure, though. I mean, that last out effort was good, was up to a hot pace that day where Chopper ended up getting the job done. A few runbacks out of there, along with Just JoJo, who Jackson picked in third. I meant to throw the picks back up now that I corrected you to 10-6-3. As you can see, I went 10-7-8. I did use Fleek, another runner coming out of that same one, gets the blinkers on. I love when Chris Hartman specifically does this move. I think while his numbers maybe not in the past year show that he's the sharpest, when he has these horses going in the right direction, and Fleek did get a good pace setup that day, I think Bejarano also just really is going to fit this horse. Maybe going to be a little bit sharper with the with the addition of blinkers, I should say, and that might help finish the job in the maiden race here. We'll wrap up race number.
I give you all sorts of credit for not saying that you're on fleek.
Nice. I probably actually my brain didn't even go there.
I was waiting for someone to say it. I'm like, someone's gonna for sure.
Yeah,
you can ask Jackson. Normally, I'm all about the puns, but that one missed me a little bit. But we'll wrap up race number 10, maiden special weight, going a mile and a 16th. I'm going 10-7-8. Jackson 3-4-10, and the Wolf Chase is going 10-6-3. Time for the feature on the day. It's the mile and a 16th Rebel Stakes. Scratch the 1 Bravaro, as Bravaro is going to stay, I believe, down at Gulfstream Park. With the rail scratched, picks up on the screen. One set. I am going 2-7-4, Jackson 3-4-7, and Chase going 10-5 because of the scratch of Bravaro, which I just learned about 15 minutes ago because of the co-host of the year, Jackson Muniz, out here.
I'm so glad Chase doesn't have litmus test anywhere, so we can both make fun of you if we're picking him. Go ahead and talk about litmus test, Ryan. Come on.
I will. I did just realize that I don't know what I just did here, but here we go. We're gonna fix something. Jackson, you're gonna have to re-enter your picks for the 12th race because I deleted something of yours. Yeah, I'm gonna start the conversation with litmus test here.
Because I made fun of you, or what?
No, computer knowledge by me.
Okay.
All right. Litmus test was entered to run in the Southwest Stakes. Was not working the greatest, so I think they opted to keep him back for whether that was the reason or another reason that I'm unaware of. Either way, litmus test comes in here on the back of 2. I thought pretty strong works. Yes, they were fast, and you can say that the February 14th effort, litmus test possibly outworked by Butane. But I do think litmus test was going the right way to end the 2-year-old season. It normally comes back strong, and Bob hasn't had the best record when shipping out to Oaklawn the past few years. As obviously in years previous, we've seen him send some of his best, in the American Pharaohs and Justifies of the world. But since like this, the test. This Sunday, the 96 and the 95 buyers, yes, he's maybe he was aided a little bit at being as long as it is, but that stretch at Oaklawn can be a little bit long too, and horses can get a little bit tired. I do think litmus test is one of the better 3-year-old colts in the Bob Baffert barn as it goes right now. I think that the fact that he didn't miss any works after not shipping to the Southwest is a good thing. Knuckles, as Baffert obviously works his horses pretty hard, pretty fast, comes in here. I got to take him in here. I'm hoping that Blackout Time is going to take a fair bit of play. That's a horse that I'm going to be playing against in my pick 4s. I'd probably be all kind of 2-7 in here. But Jackson, I'll go to you so you can trash litmus test if you so choose.
Oh, where do I even begin, Ryan? I don't know. Yeah, I don't like that he missed the Southwest, and I think Baffert said though we never intended to run there, which I don't know. I don't know what to make of that quote, but I just. Look, first of all, he's not working that well. He's been outworked in the mornings by Butane, who isn't that great. He was outworked by Winston Avenue, who hasn't even won a maiden race yet. I think he's 0-2 or 0-3. And you also just watch him work in the mornings. He has that high knee action that you typically see from more turfy horses, which makes sense because he won at Los Al, and Los Al is a track that is very conducive to horses that run on the grass. And that's why the number came back so strong. And I don't know, that Los Al race wasn't that good. I mean, Blacksmith is not a great horse, either as Providence. It just felt like he kind of beat up on lesser horses than what he's going to face here. And even the juvenile, I mean, that pace was so slow. He was able to stick around because no one was able to separate because they just kind of crawled on the front end and he just kind of was dragged along with everyone else. And then 3-back, he was very easily beaten by blackout time. So I just don't see how you're supposed to bet him in the spot off the layoff, off the questionable races. He's going to be a short price. He's not working well. I just feel like there's so many red flags in here on this horse that if I'm not going to have him on a single ticket. If he beats me, so be it. I'll just move on to the next race, but I don't like him in here.
That's fair. Chase, your thoughts on Litmus Test as you are also playing against this horse?
You know, without Bravaro in, I think he does play a little bit more involved in this race and in the early pace here because, I mean, you're now on the rail draw. You kind of have to go. With Litmus Test, I mean, once again, I'm a West Coast buyer truther, but I'm also a never bobber. So I think this might just be like a personal grudge why I'm not necessarily on Litmus Test, though. I do think that now with the rail draw, the horse kind of has to go. What's interesting to me about the Rebel is that if we were to scroll through all of these past performances, you don't see a lot of ones all the way across. You don't see a lot of horses that want to, I call like moonwalk races where the gate opens and they all just kind of start tiptoeing backwards so no one actually has to be out in front. And so I'm kind of interested to see who goes here. I think I have a horse that goes, but yeah, Litmus Test probably has a better catch, but not for me.
Fair enough. On Litmus Test, we're going to go out to the numbers 10, as that is your top pick in here. That's Soldier and Diplomat. Steve Asmussen, Jose Ortiz team up. Gets one post in from the post 10, now drawn post 9.
Yeah, it's a issue of like, who do we think could go? I think Soldier and Diplomat could go and be out on the front end of this. And I always kind of regard Kentucky Derby preps as being races that are typically won by horses that can run fast for a really long time on the front end with a high kind of cruising speed. And I think you kind of get that with Soldier and Diplomat. I think Asmussen has the screws kind of tightened here with the Bullet 5 furlong work 2 back. And then he completes the traditional ass man power move with the slow 4 furlong work. After that, you get Jose Ortiz up, you're going to get an aggressive ride. And then it's another horse that should be out kind of in the middle of the track, kind of filling in that rail and trail bias that I like, where, if the horse is hung a little bit wide, it's okay because it's going to be hopefully be in the middle on a pretty good piece of dirt. So that's my opinion on Soldier and Diplomat. It's all going to kind of depend on if he goes early or not.
It is, yeah. He kind of gets to control things, Jackson, from the far outside in this race. He's shown some speed. Maybe he doesn't have that same like kind of sprinter stretching out to turn speed, but he is a horse that's been forward and he can kind of play the break under Jose Ortiz.
He could, and I think last time the post kind of did him in because he broke well and he just was so wide that they couldn't get over. And it seemed like they were a little tepid to go forward with him, and it didn't. He ran fine. He was second in there. I think we're going to see him be a lot more aggressive on Sunday because those tactics didn't get the job done last time. And now he found himself in a race with less speed than the Southwest had. I think you just send out of the gate. And if someone beats you the front, then sure, you tuck in it's at second. But I think your plan coming out of the gates has to be to try to make the front if you can.
Absolutely. Yeah. It always pays to be forward, right? So,
yep.
We'll keep things moving right along. We're going to go to the number 5 horse next up. I went too far. That is the 5 Honeys to Blame. Chase, did you name this horse?
I named. You're talking about my godchild, my nephew, HTB, Honeys to Blame. I did indeed. Big shout out to the connections, John Holloman, who, whatever he gets a crop of horses in, he sends me. This is the pedigree. Give me some names, and so this one actually stuck. Listen, some people might not see it. A lot of people probably don't see it. I think you've got big time Mystic Dan vibes here. Especially if they go a little too fast early with, Litmus Test and Soldier and Diplomat. Just look at the replay of the last race. I know it was a allowance, optional claiming, but this horse was wide through the first turn. If you look at where he was through the second turn, then you see a horse that was absolutely full of run with nowhere to go, was completely professional, tipped out and just started rolling big time. And I think you're seeing like a buyer speed figure that kind of took it on the chin there because of the trouble that he had, I really think that Honey's to Blame is a little bit more competitive in figures than he's getting credit for. And like I said, if this thing goes kind of crazy up front, then you got to at least give him a chance to hit the board at 20-1. But yeah, I like to believe in my family members. So my nephew here, I think could get all the way up to win it.
There we go. He started as your godson. Now he's your nephew. But we're watching him here as he sits in fifth, a little bit wide on the first turn. Jackson, what are your thoughts here as we are watching the replay of this eventual victory by the number 6, Honey's to Blame?
Well, first of all, to be fair, he can be the nephew and the godson. They don't have to be two separate things. So
it's not mutually exclusive.
Exactly. Mutually exclusive. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah, he ran fine in there. He has to get faster, obviously. There's no doubt about that. But I think Chase also has a point that, with his run style in his most recent race, he can only come home so fast because the pace wasn't quick. He was behind horses. So maybe you want to upgrade it a few points. And he's going the right direction. He's improved with each dirt start. And look, he already clears allowance conditions. There's only so many places to run. You got to take a shot in here. You got an improving 3-year-old on the dirt. This isn't the strongest Rebel we're ever going to see. Take a shot, see what happens. I think if you hit the board, that's a huge win.
It absolutely is a huge win if he hits the board here. You can see Kenny McPhee can absolutely train these runners to move forward and, really get to the bottom when needed. And you kind of alluded to it at the beginning, Chase. You said this kind of gave you a little bit of those Mystic Dan vibes. We're watching the finish right now. This horse definitely, I think there's more in the tank. You can see just on the ride, it's almost just a hand ride. Didn't really go to the crop all too much going down the lane there. Did get the victory. Possible we see another step forward from this colt. Oh boy, this is the share screen everything's messing. Oh, if you guys saw my screen right now, it's not looking great for how things are looking. But anyway, Jackson, we're gonna continue. I quite literally have no control over my screen right now.
Okay, well, I'll just talk about the best bet of the weekend. So
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I love Class President in here. This is the horse I'm most excited to bet this weekend, mostly because I'm way against Litmus Test, who's probably going to be favored, at least co-favored, as Ryan has disappeared from the show. And then we haven't really talked about Blackout Time too much yet, but I think he's going to be heavily bet in this spot as well. So Blackout Time to me, it feels like this is probably just a launching point for him, and we're going to see his best effort come Arkansas Derby Day. Maybe his best effort is still better than these, but I don't think we're going to see, maybe his B effort is still better than these, but I don't think we're going to see his best. And I think Class President here is kind of interesting. His debut was good. I know it was just a 5-horse field, but he beat that field pretty handily that day. And every horse to come back on the dirt improved at least 8 buyer points in that spot. So maybe that number is a little bit better than it might indicate. And I thought it was kind of weird that they cut him back last time, because on debut, it felt to me he was getting better as the race got longer. So I wasn't really expecting him to run well in the Swale Stakes. He was also stuck on the rail, and the rail has been just brutal at Gulfstream for the entire meet, and he was hugged it the entire time. The horse that won was Solitude Dude, who was 1-5 in there, got an easy lead. And Class President tries to make this move up the fence around the turn. He tries to sneak through, tries to go challenge for the lead. Doesn't quite make it through and kind of just idled for a little bit. And once he finally got out wide in the stretch by like the 16th pole, the 8th pole, and he kind of kicked on again. It wasn't the best performance ever, but I think it was one you can build off of. And again, I think he's going to be better with more distance. That was going 7 furlongs. He's finally going the 2 turns. And he has the tactical speed that you want to see in a race like this that has somewhat of a murky pace scenario. He's going to be close, but he won't be on the lead. He'll be in striking distance in this spot. I think we're going to see his best effort in his 3rd career start, and he's not going to be among the favorites in here. So I'm really excited to bet this horse. I'm hoping to make that contest on Sunday, and this will be my all-in play at hopefully 7 or 8 to 1.
There we go. Jackson talking about number 3 Class President Todd Pletcher, Johnny V, going to be in town for the ride. Few of those busy weekend for some of those top jockeys, as they're going to be riding at Gulfstream on Saturday for the big Derby preps, and then flying right out to Oaklawn, getting some of those frequent flyer miles. Yeah. Jackson, thanks for taking the controls there, as my controls completely lost the entire plot, as I'm still trying to regain everything. But we're going to wrap up the race number 11, the Grade 2 Rebel Stakes. One more time with the picks. I'm going 2-7-4, Jackson 3-4-7, and the Wolf is going 10-5. We're going to move on. Race number 12. It's a maiden event, going 6 furlongs over the main track. We're going to end it with the Archiebreds. Chase, I want to start the question with you. How do you kind of attack and how do you approach these Archibred maiden races? Because as you kind of alluded to at the beginning, those last get out races often end in chaos. And a lot of time I feel like they are Archibreds.
You have to put it in the work. Like, you have to get in there to Formulator and start digging through your mares. And, if there's any sort of like productive siblings or anything like that, there are certain connections that I like to go with, like shortleaf. I didn't use a shortleaf horse, but shortleaf stables usually has, quality Arkansas bred horses. It's a lot of hoping, a lot of praying, wishes and good intentions, essentially, because absolutely crazy things can happen in these races. But if you put in some work, you have a little bit more success. But sometimes you still just have to throw everything out of the window and say, I have no idea why that horse won that race.
That is, half the time that truly is.
There you go. I'm your co-host now. He's no longer our concern.
Man.
Oh, there he is.
I do not know what's going on with the Wi-Fi right now and with my StreamYard connection, but we're gonna solve that issue no matter what. Picks for the race: I am going 9-7-10. Jackson's going 3-7, and the Wolf is going 7-9-2. Chase, go ahead and take us through your top pick in the number 7. The name is just it's really not working for me. This is quite a debacle that I'm going through out here. I believe the number 7 is that Like a Diamond.
Yep, for the Diamond State here in Arkansas, I've got Like a Diamond. On figures alone, there's a horse to beat. You've got Jaime Gonzalez adding the Lasix here. Strong move. It answers the question, which is for me a big thing for maiden races, which is what's different today. What have you done that's different that's going to change it? We're not seeing like the full like makeover package where we're getting blinkers and these are fillies, so there wouldn't be gelding or anything. But I do think that the addition of the Lasix is going to make a little bit of a difference here. Jaime Gonzalez is hitting a respectable 12%, but when you team him up with Tyler Bacon, absolutely love Tyler Bacon. That win percentage jumps to about 17-18% whenever they team up together. So Like a Diamond ended up on top. With the addition of Lasix as well as the figure.
There we go. Past performance is finally kind of back up on the screen, at least to the best of my ability. We'll see how long that lasts. Jackson, you're going to go towards the inside to the number 3, which is going to be Stevie Kicks. Maybe a name for Stevie Nicks. I don't know. You a fan?
I guess on Sunday I am. Yeah, on Sunday, absolutely. Big fan. This race was really tough. If Like a Diamond runs back to the debut, he's probably going to beat this field, and I'm not going to argue against that because he just ran way faster than anyone else in this field has proven to be capable of at this point. I just felt like Stevie Kicks in that race where you have a lot of horses coming out of the same common race, took a little bit of money on debut and just got completely sandwiched at the start. He lost any chance to be forward in that race. Then he kind of rushed up, made a little move, got in contention, and kind of just ran evenly in there. That was an inconclusive debut. Maybe there's more in the tank here. And I also thought he kind of had a little abbreviated work tab heading in the debut. And then there was also the weather break where everyone missed training for a couple of days. And that's probably wasn't ideal. I just feel like he had that race under his belt. He's going to move forward off of that. He had a quick workout since then. I feel like we're going to see a pretty big jump forward from start 1 to start 2. Is it going to be good enough to beat the best of the favorite? Probably not. But if maybe the favorite regresses a little bit, I think it's probably good enough to beat potentially everyone else in here. And I got to imagine he's going to be at least double digits in a race like this.
Yeah, certainly going to get double digits on this Archibred ridden by Mendoza in here. That's the number 3. We're going to go out to the number 7. That is Like a Diamond. Just kidding. We're not going to go there. We're going to go to the number 9, Whispering Charm. Peter Miller, Ramon Vasquez team up for this one. Whispering Charm going to be trying not 2 turns, going to be going the sprint distance, second time in the barn for Peter Miller. I think this runner's kind of going to get things her own way, rather, from the far outside. Going to be that early speed presence. Drew post position 7 last time and was kind of between horses as they came down the lane. I think gets a little bit of a cleaner trip this time. Peter Miller, second time in the barn. Obviously, no drop is here. Ramon Vasquez is going to stick aboard, one of your leading riders out at Oaklawn. Chase, do you have, obviously you have this horse in second. What are your thoughts on this filly, as well as your thoughts on that riding colony out at Oaklawn? Because, Ramon Vasquez, Christian Torres, Francisco Arietta, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple others. It's very strong and very competitive.
Yeah, they've really kind of showed out. It's like we very much have except for Ramon Vasquez, it kind of feels like new blood out there where it used to be just like Ricardo Santana Jr. every single year. Now it's a little bit more open from the riding perspective. I mean, even like people like Tyler Bacon. Tyler Bacon is showing up after, just kicking ass at Prairie Meadows. Now he comes down to Arkansas. For a while was really doing a great job taking advantage of that, bug designation, using his weight breaks. If we want to talk about hot riding, let's talk about Ramon Vasquez with the soul patched one, Peter Miller here. They're really just hitting at a 23% clip. I mean, if you look at Peter Miller just at Oaklawn right now, hitting at 29%, it's a really good combination with a decent sample size here. I think that if we get a little bit of a cleaner trip here, for Whispering Charm, who I believe was stuck in between horses there for a little bit, that I think you've got, everything that you kind of need to win here. Works seem pretty consistent. I think that this horse is easily a horse that could get in for Ramon Vasquez and give him yet another win to add to his, what did you just hit, 5,000? Was that right?
I believe you just hit 5,000. Yes. This is these Archie bred horse races are never easy to kind of decipher. So I felt like, Whispering Charm is probably going to get the simplest of the trips in here. And sometimes that's all it takes. But if they heat things up on the front end, Jackson, that could spell trouble. Any other points that you want to add on the number 7, like a diamond, or your third choice, whoever that may be?
No, for me, it's probably going to just mess around with a 3 a little bit to win and play her underneath the 7. I think the other thing with the 7 here is it's February, and this is a 4-year-old facing a bunch of 3-year-olds, and this is a very early time of the year for these 3-year-olds to be taking on older horses. And I know they have, I believe the difference is 6 pounds, but that's not a lot. So the 7 is supposed to be 1 to 2 in here. I mean, she's really, if she runs back that most recent race, she's supposed to win.
She is supposed to win. Chase, take us home with Artemis Sparkles.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be your speed of speed in a race where we've been going through 8.5 furlong races. Finally, we're cutting back to a 6 furlong race. Early speed, always dangerous in these types of races. I think that you're likely to see Artemis Sparkles and Quinones out on the lead. Alan Milligan hasn't really had a ton of success so far this meet. Not really great with maiden second starts, but early speed, dangerous. And if the horse is going to be on the front hitting the turn, then I think it's got Artemis Sparkles has plenty of good chance to hold on. So that's the play for the 2 for me.
I like it. How would you be ending your pick 4 ticket here? How many horses deep are you going to be going? And then take us through not a whole ticket, but who would you kind of narrow down? And obviously we know you're going to try and beat Explora.
Yeah, it's weird because I kind of think that if you're going to play this and you want to get skinny somewhere, you try to do it in the maiden races, which is totally not my MO. Like, I'm usually very spread out. I think the horse, like, you might try to go ahead and single Banksy's in race 10. I'm probably take every horse that I think can pass horses in race 9 going against Explora. Like I said, maybe you get cute and try to single Banksy's in the Rebel itself. Once again, if you're going to I'm trying to get around the first 2 picks here. So I'm going to take every single horse that I think I consider to be worth a damn, that I consider to be a contender in this race. And maybe that didn't work out because of pace or anything, but I'm going to go ahead and load that up. And then I either try to get cute with Like a Diamond, or I go ahead and throw everything at the wall here because it gets crazy at the end. Archiebreds, gotta love them. I love them so much, Jackson, that I got Archibred. There we go. Scrawled into my flesh.
Oh, I was on mute. I love it. I said I love it. I said like 4 times and I realized I was on mute. Oops. But
I love it too. I mean, that's dedication to the Archie-breds right there.
Yeah.
All right, Chase, I got to thank you, man. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you back on the airways. I know your name tag says showless and nameless or aimless. I was going to say aimless because nameless is certainly not appropriate, as you are known as the Wolf more than I think you are Chase, which I think is a good thing in your eyes, I would imagine. But Chase, thank you for joining us. Best of luck this weekend. Hope you enjoy Oaklawn Park and the Rebel. Parting question before I get your parting thoughts. How's the weather looking?
Sunshine should be pretty good weather. We're looking at like 70 degrees on Saturday and then like in the 50s on Sunday. So it's going to be a little bit cooler, but you're not going to have any sort of just, signature Oaklawn 3 inches of rain or anything over the weekend. So we should be fast. Well, not firm because we don't have turf, but we should be fast for the entire weekend.
There we go. It's always fast and firm when you never run on the turf. So there we go. Jackson, parting thoughts from you, my man.
No, I'm excited for this weekend. As we kind of talked about, this feels like the weekend where we're going to finally get some separation, I think, for as far as the Derby goes. I think there's kind of there's Paladin and Nearly at the top, but they're it's very tepid co-favorites right now. And I'm hoping between Oaklawn, Gulfstream, and whatever the other prep is. Is there a third prep?
Gotham.
Oh, it's Gotham. Yeah. I'm hoping we see some big performances and finally get some more answers.
There we go. For special guest Chase the Wolf of Oaklawn and my co-host Jackson Muniz, I've been Ryan Anderson. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Jackson, you and I are back tomorrow doing the Turf Pick 3 from Gulfstream on a very, very busy week. We'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching.